This is how we start off our shows, okay? We start off on the left side, and we go. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. All right. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money.
Like a he was showing the guy crawling on the roof. This really bothers me. Trying to record. There's something weird about that. He's hiding the real footage. So anyway, I'm Cheeto and Roll, and the next guy down is actually responsible for that incident, unless the same he didn't even say it.
Somebody, somebody.
Make sure say
somebody, somebody. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Somebody, somebody. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Somebody, somebody. We're gonna do this. This is how we start off our shows, okay? We start off on the left side, and we go. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. All right. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. All right. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. We're gonna do this. This is how we start off our shows, okay? We start off on the left side, and we go. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. All right. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Save, save, save.
Holla, 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 save, build a, sound money. Okay, it's ugly old goat here. And I decided to do a show. Eddie was here, and so he could hook me up. And it's August 24th, about 2 o'clock, 2:16 in the afternoon. And the reason I wanted to do a show is because we did technically take out the 2-week high overnight, and that just indicates to me that we're not going down anymore, guys, and I think we've started this major uptrend. So let's go look at the market quickly, and all right, there it is. And here's what we did, guys. You can see this high right here was 62,745, and we took that out overnight. If you look at the daily, we did it, boom, right there. When we took out this high, that was it. So there's your 2-week high. We took it out, and I don't think we're going to get much of a sell-off from here. I'd be very surprised if we do, but we can, and you want to be prepared for that if you do. And here's where we close. This is the Chicago Merc, and again, this guy, oh, look, it actually closed, it took out its 2-week high. I didn't recognize that. It actually closed taking out its 2-week high, which is very strong. So I didn't think it would take it. I thought it closed and then went up, but this thing actually took it out. So we reversed this thing. We've kind of filled all the gaps, and now we're going up. And guys, if you look at this, there's this seasonal, again, whoops, there it is. Again, you want to be buying this market in this time frame, you know, month of August, month of September. This is the time that we should make our lows. So if you started buying, you know, this month, you're doing quite well so far with dollar cost averaging. You bought a little bit every day or however you're doing it. We'll quickly look at the gold market. As you guys know, I'm very bullish on gold. Gold's just looking super, and I think it's going to probably hit new highs next week. And I don't think you're going to have Bitcoin go down if gold's hitting new highs. Stock market, I'm just fundamentally not in the same mood for the stock market as I am for gold and Bitcoin, but that's my bias. All right, so hey, I wanted to outline something that I thought might be fun today. I was tuned in to Tone Vase. He's been doing a thorough analysis on the Trump assassination attempt. Make sure you put this link on the show notes because he does a great job. He actually has, in his show notes, he has a whole outline. He has thoroughly researched this issue, and he's got a Google Docs. If you hit here, you can pull up his whole timeline. He's done a lot of original research. I mean, he's not doing the original research. Here's what Tone does. He's a researcher, so he takes everybody else's research and puts it together. And so this is, I mean, if you want the homework's already done for you, and Tone has done it. So I do recommend if you want to find out all there is to know right now about the Trump assassination attempt, watch this video. I'm going to play a little bit because he makes a startling conclusion here. And let me just play this because I've said this. I learned this lesson when I was locked up in federal prison. I learned this lesson from about 1991 to 2002. And let me just play this for a minute.
And then they cleaned up the scene, and there will be no answers ever, no matter what task force.
Back a little bit.
Shaky footage
what?
by.
Where do I need to put it?
It was already on there.
Oh.
All you had to do was hit play.
Oh, okay. I did.
No.
Homeland Security officials and throw them in a prison, along with Mayorkas, and throw in a prison, along with the top 10 secret agencies go. I got to get going, guys.
All right, that's all I want to play, because basically he came to the conclusion we're never going to get to the bottom of what really happened with Trump assassination, even if they open up the records. They've already covered up so much. You know, they apparently they cremated the body almost immediately. He showed where the FBI was there cleaning up the crime scene. And they're not the ones that are supposed to do it, but a literal FBI agent who was washing down the roof. Hey, I learned about, here's what's happening, and this is what's so fundamentally bullish right now, and why I'm looking at this from a positive point of view. Tone got there and basically pulled out his balls for Big Brother to come cut him off, because he just said the only way we're going to resolve this is we need to put all of these government officials, the FBI, the head of the Department of Justice, Secretary of State, we're going to have to lock them all up and throw them in jail and then put them in the prisoner's dilemma. And the prisoner's dilemma is, you know, the first one that confesses gets the biggest break, and then maybe the second one that confesses and rats everybody out gets the next biggest break. That's the way the federal government operates on its citizens. And so apparently we need to do the same thing in reverse. Guys, I learned this when I was in prison. I literally became a jailhouse lawyer. I studied the law and helped out a lot of cases, but I interviewed over 100 inmates. And of those 100 inmates, there was the amount of drugs and money, and these were all drug cases. Almost everybody was in there because of drug cases. The amount of money and the drugs never matched. Now, in some cases, the drugs were all there, and in other cases, the money was all there. But most cases, both were missing. And the funny thing is, you didn't want to talk about this, but Eddie was actually, it happened to him. But I've talked to over 100 inmates. This is not a scientific study, but not one in over 100 people had the drug seized match. And it was the FBI and the DEA who were stealing the money or the drugs. And I know in Eddie's case, they took he said, yeah, I had money in the bank account. They seized my bank account. And of course, he had 5 kilos of coke, but they only charged him for 2. The thing is, your sentencing depends upon the quantity. So it's a catch-22. So, well, where's my other 3 kilos? Well, you'll get another 10 years if you plead up to him. So it's the most corrupt system you've ever seen. I mean, the whole incarcerating this many Americans, it's just, and you know what? The judges were in on it. I mean, the judges sponsored these private jails. You want to go into corruption. There is no part of the United States government that isn't thoroughly corrupt. And we just keep creating these new agencies. The latest one, this Homeland Security, the TSA. Guys, there is a solution to this. Now, I'm not sure who it was. I was doing some research. I thought it was Ludwig von Mises was asked, well, if you were president, what would you do? And I don't know if it was Ron Paul or Ludwig von Mises or who it was, but it was a great solution. What Trump needs to do now, if he's elected, he needs to look at what the executive branch is spending, okay? And say, okay, here's what Joe Biden's administration spent last year just for the executive branch. We're going to cut that in half. And then just start our hands do that. Now, because I led the way, now this is how Trump can lead the nation. He sits on his hands and he goes to Congress. I have cut my spending by 1/2. And I expect you to do the same. You figure out what you're going to cut. And they need to sit there and figure out what they're going to cut. 50% of the budget in 1 year. And then after that year, and they accomplish it, President Trump needs to do the same thing. I'm going to cut my budget in half again. We need to get rid of all this crappy legislation, all these entitlements. We need to stop inflating. And we need to end all this regulation, and we need to keep cutting the government bureaucracy. We need to drain the swamp. Let's drain the swamp. So he needs to cut that budget in half for a second year. The third year, he says, you know what? Great job, guys. You've cut the budget by half again. Now we're going to do it one more time. He cuts it in half again. And he requires every government agency and the legislators to do the same. After the third year, said, you know what? We finally got this government down to where it should be. Now, is there any legislation that we might need? Just want to throw that out for thought, guys. This is what needs to be done. There is some, I think, positive things going on right now, especially the idea of not taxing tips. And the reason that's so important is because if you think about that, well, you know what? If my tips should not be taxed, why should any labor be taxed? These problems that we're having today stem from two things. We passed the income tax, where we taxed people's labor, and we created a central bank. And we did that all in 1913. So we need to start a movement. No tax on labor. I'm not opposed to all taxes, but no labor should be taxed. It's an unfair tax. And the money should not be taxed through inflation. And people's businesses should not be taxed through regulation. Okay, I'm not saying get rid of all regulation, but I think we can do with about 95% of it. All we really need are good, sound laws to enforce the 10 Commandments. That requires a moral choice from the people. I hope President Trump can lead such a movement. I doubt it because he's a huge inflationist. But you know what? It's possible. Maybe he sees things in a different light and has nothing. Maybe he has nothing to lose. But if we want to bring back what America was and what it can be, then we have to go back to the foundations that we had 200 years ago. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.